WYNT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Justin Case. What began as a Knox County teenager reported missing quickly turned into a human trafficking case, landing 3 people in jail. Knox County deputies say the 16-year-old Corbin girl was found locked in the back of a U-Haul truck in another state. I went to Barberville today to talk with deputies about the investigation. Knox County deputies say the family of a 16-year-old Corbin girl reported her missing Saturday night. About 24 hours later, she was found locked in the back of a U-Haul in Cincinnati.
When you have charges of kidnapping and human trafficking, there's going to be some sort of deception that's took place.
Deputies say a tip led Cincinnati police to find the U-Haul and the girl. Taking every missing persons case seriously is what officials say helped locate the teen.
We get a lot of calls of missing people. Like you say, a lot of them usually runaways. That's something, we enter them in a database. We go through the system each time, as it could lead to something to this. But 99% of the time it don't.
Officials say Tiffany Cheek lured the girl from her home after claiming she was her guardian. That's when they say the teen was locked in the U-Haul before 34-year-old Michael Nason engaged in sexual activity with her.
We realized that it was serious. We didn't want anything like this to happen again, so we needed to start acting pretty quickly.
A third person was also arrested, 27-year-old Carl Hickman. Officials say he also helped take the girl. He was arrested in Cincinnati and will be extradited to Kentucky.
A lot of cases like this, they're hard to work. There's a lot involved in it. But on it like this case here, Deputy Luttrell, he's got a good, strong case.
In their decades of service, officials here say this is the first time they have seen a human trafficking case in this area.
It's something you never get used to, but you just got to make sure the victim's taken care of, and that's what's most important.
Working to get justice for a person whose life might never be the same. Some of the most serious charges among the 3 arrested include kidnapping, rape, and human trafficking, among other charges. As of now, the human trafficking charges are state charges, but could become federal charges. Ahead of this year's Kentucky Derby, Attorney General Andy Beshear wants you to be on the lookout for victims of human trafficking. Major sporting events such as the Derby and the Super Bowl tend to be hotbeds for traffickers. Victims often have identical tattoos, branding, and they often do not know where they are staying. If you suspect someone is a victim, contact police immediately. A crash in Martin County killed a well-known coach this morning. Since 2013, Tim Rice coached the girls' basketball team at Sheldon Clark High School and worked as an in-school suspension teacher. The crash happened on New Route 3. Officials believe Rice hit the back of a cement truck with his SUV. The coroner pronounced him dead around 8:30 a.m. Senior basketball player Mackenzie Preston says Rice was not just a coach.
They've watched him coach, but he meant more than a coach. He was a friend, he was a companion, he was a good person.
The driver of the cement truck was not injured. Police do not believe alcohol or drugs were involved. Rice was 59 years old and from Betsy Lane. A man is dead following a crash in Jackson County. It happened on Highway 3630 in Annville. State police say a woman pulled out in front of another vehicle from the Town and Country Market. They say her passenger, 86-year-old Don McQueen, died. Police have not filed any charges in this case. A Harlan County community is taking the pain of loss and turning it into a force for good after a fatal fire killed 2 twins in the Tots community and sent their parents, Dennis Chad Howard and Allison Howard, to a burn unit in Georgia with severe burns. Many are coming together to help the family.
Prayers are requested. Chad and Allison both, they got some difficult days ahead of them. They're in very serious condition.
We have links to how you can help the family through this hard time on our website, WYNT.com. New at 11, an escaped Knox County inmate is back behind bars. Investigators say an off-duty officer spotted this man, Christopher Denham, walking along North Main Street in Barberville around 7 this evening. Denham is accused of jumping into the Cumberland River to escape work detail around 11 a.m. Police say Denham already had 2 needles on him when they arrested him. He's also accused of stealing clothes from Walmart. Late Saturday evening, a body was found in a pond at the Paintsville Golf Course. It turned out to be 29-year-old Herbert Blevins. Blevins is a Johnson County native. Many describe him as a family man that always made sure to call his mom or siblings at least once a day. When his mother had not heard from him, she knew something was wrong.
I saw him Saturday, and he said, "Mommy, messaged me and let me know you made it home okay." And when I got home, I messaged him, and I got no reply to him. And I kept trying to get a hold of him. By Saturday evening, I still hadn't heard nothing. And that's when I called my daughters, and I said, there was something wrong. Bubby didn't message me back.
The funeral for Blevins will be held at the Preston Funeral Home tomorrow at 1. The Prescription Drug Abuse and Heroin Summit is underway in Atlanta this week. In addition to the many ideas being thrown around, there are vendors hoping to help understand more about the opioid crisis. Gravity Diagnostics is based out of Covington, Kentucky, and they provide a number of lab testing services. One thing they are working on is genetic or DNA testing, hoping to see if some people are more predisposed to opioid addiction than others.
As pharmacogenetic testing, what you do with that, you see how a person metabolizes medication. As far as the what we look for with that, to see if there may be, that we're actually doing a study right now with a university to see if there is any way that we can link the genetics to see if there's more of a likelihood that they may be genetically predispositioned to be more addicted to certain medications than others.
Fresnel says their lab does a host of other services, hoping to help treat people facing the opioid epidemic. And at this year's summit, there are a handful of presentations across many different communities in the United States. Today, the talks are about infectious diseases and the University of Kentucky's Bridge Clinic. WYMT's Will Puckett attended both and wraps up our coverage of Day 2 from Atlanta.
Day 2 of the Prescription Drug Abuse and Heroin Summit is in the books, and there were a handful of sessions today that covered a multitude of topics. One that we stopped in was about infectious diseases, as well as another about a clinic at the University of Kentucky. The good news that kicked off today is that numbers in many areas are on the decline.
Deaths from prescription opioids did not increase. The number of deaths attributed to heroin did not increase. That tells me that some of our policies may finally be working.
Tuesday started off with a session update, the work being done in Washington. It then moved out of the largest ballroom in Atlanta into smaller rooms where more ideas were tossed around from community to community.
Science on stuff like needle exchange is so clear. I don't understand how anybody could object to that coming to their community when the science is just so clear.
Wayne Smith was part of a group speaking about infectious diseases and ways to eliminate them. The Commonwealth was well represented in the afternoon sessions, filling people in on critical work at the University of Kentucky.
I think the thing that we're doing, especially, is we're getting it as soon as it hits the emergency department versus waiting for the possible death. So we're trying to catch it early and offer a lot of prevention strategies to avoid that.
For Binkley and her colleagues, they are talking about the first Bridge Clinic that is seeing a nearly 60% success rate at helping their patients.
A lot of our patients come from very rural areas, so they don't have the resources necessarily available where they're at. So we're able to provide that for them and get them to a home clinic, maybe closer to their home that they weren't aware of.
So the good news, a handful of those numbers are on the decline, but there is still work to be done. We will have more from Atlanta tomorrow as President Trump is set to speak at 1 o'clock. In Atlanta, Will Puckett, WYMT Mountain News.
And as you just heard Will mention, President Trump will be in town tomorrow to deliver a speech alongside the First Lady. This is the third year in a row that the summit will have either a sitting or former U.S. president at the event. Congressman Hal Rogers of Kentucky says it is an honor to have the president in attendance, and he knows President Trump will help spread the word.
He's got the bully pulpit, and all the media pay attention to what he says. So having him and the First Lady here, and she's been very active in this fight, having both of them here helps us spread the gospel big time. Last year we had President Clinton, the year before that President Obama. Now for the third straight year, a president is here. This one, of course, incumbent, and is able to talk.
President Trump will speak at approximately 1 p.m. and we will carry it live online. Head over to WYMT.com for more information. Corbin High School students are collecting shoes to help people in need get clean water. Students are on year 6 of the Water Step program, where donated shoes are broken down and sold to companies that utilize the rubber. The profits go to help purchase machines and tools to purify water for people in and outside of the United States. Statistics show nearly 5,000 kids a day die from unclean water.
Even though it's just a small part, we get the whole community together, and restaurants and churches, and you bring all these different groups together, and it's amazing.
Students expect to reach their goal of at least 15,000 shoes collected over the past 6 years. Logan Corporation in Salyersville unveiled its most recent dump truck body today. The truck marks number 1,000 since the company began producing that style in 2016. Vice President Randy Reisner says the number of trucks produced in the first 3 years has exceeded the company's expectations. He credits his vendors and the Eastern Kentucky workforce for the company's success.
We're always striving for more. The economy has helped us out, and a lot of it is the guys here in Eastern Kentucky. They really have a really good skill set to do this type of work, and the people throughout the United States that we sell these bodies to, they see that quality.
Reisner says he hopes to see an even bigger increase in production over the next few years.
Scattered rain chances are already starting to make their way into the mountains. Good news is they are just scattered. Not all of us are seeing those rain chances. You'll notice that here on satellite and radar, mainly staying to the north along areas of I-64, moving a little bit more south as we head into those overnight hours. Temperatures, they're still really comfortable though, into the upper 60s to some spots into those lower 70s. Some spots have already dropped to the mid 60s down into the Cumberland Valley. Really, we'll see those temperatures drop to about the upper 50s tonight. 30% chance of a few showers, and we'll continue that as we head into your Wednesday. So we have scattered chances tonight, that continuing into your Wednesday. The greatest chance for rain though is going to be Thursday. I'll have that full forecast coming up for you guys in just a little bit. Justin.